Okay, well, I suppose to try to explain just in a quick sentence, Spatial NI has been developed by Land and Property Services for Northern Ireland. However, we haven't developed it just for ourselves. We've decided to build a centralised portal for all of the Inspire data providers within Northern Ireland. It was a bit of a no-brainer in the sense of the business case, because nobody really had the functionality to produce the necessary services. So Spatial NI is our front end. So within that, then we have an awful lot of different data sets, as Rudiger said, then under different business models. We've got our own, we're the National Mapping Agency for Northern Ireland, so we have our own spatial data in there that's actually charged for data, so we can't give that away for free. We also have other government data sets in there that are freely available, but not for commercial reuse. So I suppose it forced us to try to rethink a little bit about how we approached licensing. And what we're trying to do is get as much of our data out there as easily as possible and to try to get it reused. So as Rudiger has already mentioned, we've devised a couple of different levels of access. So we have an anonymous preview. I suppose the other thing is we're not just trying to do just Inspire here. We've got a GI strategy as well, so it's kind of an Inspire Plus type portal. So we've got functionality on here because we want people to share the data. We want people to use the data within Northern Ireland. So we're trying to facilitate that, I suppose, and make it as easy as possible. So we've got a map viewer built into the system with GI functionality on that, all of which are outside the realms of Inspire, but all add to it. So our preview license is an anonymous preview, so you can first of all go in, find a metadata record and actually look at that. We don't need to know who you are. We also then have a registered preview whereby you can actually take that data set away, embed it in your own GI systems. We have then our Northern Ireland mapping agreement, so that's where I think it's 20 of our data sets within Land and Property Services are freely available to all government users they pay a price at a top level and then they have free access to that. So that's a license agreement that's already, I suppose, it's signed and it's there, but we want to give access then through web services to all of that data. And then we've set up, or are in the process of setting up a non-commercial license for all of the other government data outside of that and for our NEMA license too. But I shall attempt to give you a little live demo of what Rudiger has demonstrated. Sorry, Rudiger. I click on this. In theory, it should bring me to Spatial NI. Okay, so this is our front end. So if I search for one of the services Rudiger looked at there, our transport, and the whirly wheel whirls. So I haven't registered on the portal, I haven't logged in yet. I literally just want to have a browse. And this should bring me back this data set, which as we saw is licensed. So this is our transport data set. And if I decide to add that to the internal map viewer, if I click on it, it should prompt me to accept the LPS preview license. I click on that, accept the terms of use, and then it should launch the map viewer and actually show me the data set. All being well. Okay. So it is one of our National Mapping Agency's data sets, so it is a charged for data set. So this preview is spatially and temporarily restricted. So we just have a selected area that will let you preview our data. The license is restricted just for a one-day type license. So it's just giving you a little snapshot of what the data is like. And this is literally, you can only look at this within the map viewer, which is being a bit slow to launch. It's the Wi-Fi connection. Nothing to do with our system. You can try it at home. If it is going to launch. This is why we need our backups. This is why I got the live demo bit. It did launch earlier. Come along. Oh, thank you. Oh, here we go. Oh, starting something. Okay, that's not going to launch.
I think the main message is how the licensing integrates into the workflow. I think everybody of you has seen that was nothing up and showing.
Yeah, true. Oh, it is going to launch. Okay, yeah. This is the bit where I say we still haven't UAT'd our system, and it's very new, but up at the very top here. This is why you should test things. There is our transport data set. Okay, so that's our little spatially restricted area. Okay, so I can then, if I actually log in, not as that, but if I log in, we've got different user profiles. So if I log in as another user, who's not me, which is probably slightly illegal, and look for the same data set again. Well, actually, if I go to my licenses, sorry, that's what I wanted to do. So once you register on the system, then you can start to actually see the licenses that are related to your profile, if they show. Still trying. No, okay. Well, it should give me access to the list of licenses that are available to me. So if I then click on the transport network one, it will actually open up. I can find the protected URL that's unique to my own personal login, and then that's where I can copy that URL, paste it into my own GI system, and it will actually bring the data set then into my own desktop system if I wish. So it's got the, I suppose, the user key added into it so that we know who you are. We don't want people constantly accessing the data then if they're not really supposed to, so we can kind of keep an eye on that. And then the third aspect that we have is then if you're a NEMA user, a government user, you'll be put into a NEMA user group. You can literally go in and just click and accept I suppose, a very short summary of the framework agreement you've already signed to just say that you recognise that you're only accepting the data under those circumstances, and then you can hit accept your licence, and then you can use that in any system that you want as well. So what we're trying to do, I suppose, is just try to make it, we have to put the licensing in place, but trying to make it as simple as possible and the workflow as simple as possible as to what we can do. And in theory, well, our software does at the moment. We're only in the early stages. We only have 3 protected data sets at the moment, but we're actively progressing this now over the next couple of months. As we create our web services, we'll be adding in the licensing agreements to them. And what we can do then is literally for each web service that we create, we can add any number of these different licensing profiles to it. So depending on who you are and what user group you're registered into, will give you access to the different suite of licenses that you have. And you'll always have a record of them then once you've accepted them, so we can actually see who's using the data as well. In some cases for the anonymous use, obviously we can't track that, but for some of the others then we can, because we're just interested to see who is actually using the data and what they're accessing. That is about me, I think. Okay, Ruder.